I want my ex to be your best man. It'll look beautiful when I stand next to him. My fiancé decided it without asking me, so I canceled everything that night. Now I'm happy with her sister, and she's the one who's broken. When my fiancé looked me straight in the eye and said, I don't want your best friend as the best man. I want my ex to stand next to you at the altar. Something inside me went completely silent. She said it like it was nothing, like replacing loyalty with vanity was just another wedding detail. I smiled, nodded, and later that night, while she slept peacefully dreaming of her perfect ceremony, I was on the phone canceling every last piece of it. My name's Daniel. I'm 29 years old, and until recently, I was about to marry Natalia, my girlfriend of 3.5 years. Everything seemed to be going well. The wedding venue was booked, a beautiful place with a lake view, the invitations sent, and the cake chosen. But sometimes when you think everything is under control, life slaps you in the face. This is what happened when Natalia dropped an idea on me that left me in shock, and how I ended up canceling the wedding and sarcastically sending the invoice for the deposits to her ex. What came after was chaos I didn't see coming. It was a Saturday afternoon, 3 months before the wedding. We were on the couch in our apartment reviewing details. Natalia was looking at her phone talking about flowers and colors. I was half listening, thinking about the Sunday soccer game with the guys. Suddenly, she put down the phone and looked at me with that face she makes when she's about to say something serious. Daniel, we need to talk about the best man, she said, crossing her arms. What's wrong with Pablo? I replied, Pablo is my best friend since high school. He's one of those guys who are always there, no matter what. When my dad died 5 years ago, he was the one who supported me. Choosing him as best man was obvious to me. Natalia frowned. I don't think Pablo is the best option. He's not presentable. His shirts are always wrinkled, and that beard won't look good in the photos. I stared at her, not knowing whether to laugh or get angry. Presentable? He's my friend, Natalia. Not a model. He's the best man, not the center of attention. She sighed as if I didn't understand. It's our wedding, Daniel. Everything must be perfect. I don't want the photos to look bad because of someone who doesn't fit in. I think Christian should be the best man. The name hit me like a bucket of cold water. Christian, her ex, the guy she was with for 2 years before me. I never disliked him, but I always noticed that Natalia spoke of him in a strange tone, as if he still meant something. Hearing that put me on alert. Christian, your ex? Seriously, I said, trying not to sound annoyed. Why do you think that makes sense? Because he's charismatic, dresses well, and knows how to behave at events. She replied as if it were the most normal thing. I've already spoken to him, and he agrees. That made my blood boil. You already spoke to him without telling me? Natalia, what's going on here? She got defensive. It's not a big deal. I just want the wedding to be perfect. Pablo is a disaster, and I don't want him to ruin our day. Calling Pablo a disaster hurt me. He's not perfect. He works as a technician at a cell phone company. He likes cheap beer, and his jokes are bad, but he's loyal. Comparing him to Christian, a guy who according to her was always at important events and worked in real estate, seemed unfair to me. But the worst part was realizing that Natalia had planned this behind my back. So, you want me to kick out my best friend because you don't like how he looks and put your ex in his place? That's it, I said, holding back my rage. Don't be dramatic, Daniel. It's a practical decision, she replied, rolling her eyes. Interesting decision, I said and got up. I needed air. I went to the kitchen, grabbed a bottle of water, and looked out the window trying to process it. Something didn't add up. It wasn't just about Pablo or Christian. It was that Natalia made such a big decision without considering me, as if my opinion wasn't worth anything. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about our relationship. There were always things that bothered me, her obsession with appearances, how she criticized my friends, how everything had to be perfect according to her. I let it slide because I loved her. But this was different. It was a red flag I couldn't ignore. The next day I talked to Pablo. He laughed thinking it was a joke, but when he saw I was serious he said, Brother, if she prefers her ex over me, think it over. The wedding is yours too. His words gave me clarity. The following days I analyzed everything. I remembered how Natalia would mention Christian from time to time, that she saw him at an event, that he posted a photo, that she wrote to him about something innocent. I started to suspect there was something more. On Thursday, I made the decision. It wasn't easy, but I felt it was the right thing to do. I called the venue, the caterer, the florist. I canceled everything. I lost $22,000 in deposits. Every call hurt, but it also freed me. I couldn't marry someone who didn't trust me or respect my friends. When Natalia arrived that night, I told her. Her face went from surprise to fury. You canceled the wedding without telling me. Are you crazy? She yelled, pacing back and forth. That's the most selfish thing you've ever done. Selfish, I replied. And deciding my friend isn't good enough for our wedding? Talking to your ex behind my back? If anyone is selfish, it's not me. We argued for hours. She cried, screamed, said she only wanted the best, but I no longer believed her excuses. She had crossed a line. The next day, I did something impulsive. I looked for Christian's number on her phone. Yes, I'm not proud of it, but I was furious. I sent him an invoice for the $22,000 I lost with a note. Thanks for the inspiration, Christian. Enjoy being the best man of nothing. I didn't expect a response, but hours later my phone exploded with voicemails from Natalia. She was hysterical. How dare you involve Christian? You're humiliating me, she said in one. In another, she cried, saying I was cruel. But the last one left me cold. You don't know what you've unleashed, Daniel. This isn't over. I didn't know what she meant, but I would soon find out. The following days were crazy. Natalia and her family didn't stay quiet. And what started as a decision to protect myself turned into a war that tested everything I thought I knew about her. On the Monday after canceling the wedding, I woke up to a phone full of notifications. I had messages from Natalia, her mom, and even her cousin, whom I barely knew. Natalia's were pure drama. She alternated between asking me to reconsider and accusing me of ruining her life. Her mom was more direct. You're irresponsible. Daniel, how could you embarrass my daughter like this? The cousin, well, she just sent me a meme of a guy running with the word coward over it. I blocked their numbers. I needed peace, but the peace didn't last. On Tuesday, while checking my bank account, I saw a charge for $8,000 at a furniture store. I called the bank thinking it was a mistake. It wasn't. Natalia had used my credit card, the one we shared for wedding expenses, to buy a sofa and a dining table. I was stunned. Seriously, did she think I wouldn't notice? I called the store and managed to cancel the purchase, but the bank told me Natalia had attempted other charges that didn't go through due to credit limits. This wasn't just anger, it was calculated. I went to the apartment that same afternoon. Natalia was still living there, although I was already looking for another place. I confronted her while she was in the kitchen chopping vegetables as if nothing was wrong. What the hell, Natalia? $8,000 on furniture with my card, I said, trying not to yell. She didn't even look up. I thought we needed it for the apartment. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. I canceled the wedding. There is no we that needs furniture, I replied, feeling the rage build. Give back the card now. She looked at me with contempt, but took it out of her purse and threw it on the table. You're pathetic, Daniel. This is all because of your ego. I didn't answer. I grabbed the card and left. That night, I stayed at Pablo's house. He listened as I vented with a beer in hand. Brother, that woman is crazy. Good thing you got out in time, he said, handing me another beer. He was right, but the pain was still there. 3.5 years don't get erased so easily. On Wednesday, things got weirder. I received a call from an unknown number. It was Christian. His voice sounded tense, like he was holding something back. Hey, Daniel, the invoice was a low blow. I don't know what Natalia told you, but I have nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with it? She said you had already agreed to be the best man. Are you telling me she lied? I replied, feeling a mix of confusion and curiosity. He paused. Look, she wrote to me a few weeks ago talking about the wedding. She asked if I would be willing to help with something. I didn't say I would be the best man. I just said I would think about it. I didn't want to get involved in her business. That got me thinking. If Christian wasn't as involved as Natalia said, why did she insist so much? Was it an excuse, or was there something more? Before hanging up, Christian dropped something that left me cold. By the way, my wife is not happy about this at all, so please leave me out of it. Wife? I didn't know Christian was married. This was getting murkier and murkier. I decided not to respond to him anymore and to continue with my plan, move out, and leave this mess behind. On Friday, while looking for apartments, I received a message from Marta, Natalia's younger sister. We always got along. She was more relaxed, less obsessed with appearances. She wrote to me, Daniel, I'm so sorry. I don't agree with what my sister is doing. If you need to talk, I'm here. I thanked her, but I didn't want to involve her. This was between Natalia and me. That same night, I went back to the apartment to pick up more things. When I arrived, I saw my car, an old but reliable sedan with a dent on the door. There was a note on the windshield. We'll talk soon. I know Christian, Natalia. I was furious. I checked the building's security cameras, and there were Natalia and Christian arguing next to the car. It wasn't clear what they were doing, but it was obvious they were up to something. I called the police and reported the damage. I didn't have enough evidence to accuse them directly, but I wanted it on record. The next day, Marta called me. Daniel, I need to tell you something. Natalia is out of control. She met with Christian again, and I think they are planning something against you. I don't know what, but be careful. Her voice sounded worried, and I believed her. Marta wasn't one to make things up. On Sunday, things exploded. I received an email from a lawyer. Natalia was suing me for emotional distress and asking for $50,000. It said that canceling the wedding had humiliated her and affected her reputation. I laughed, but I was also worried. Seriously, did she think she could win that? I called a lawyer friend who told me the case had no legs to stand on, but that I should prepare for a circus. Meanwhile, on social media, Natalia started a campaign. She posted on Instagram and other platforms telling a heavily edited version of the story that I left her at the altar out of irrational jealousy and that she was struggling to rebuild her life. She even created a fundraising page saying she needed help to overcome this betrayal. Some believed her, but others, including mutual friends, started asking me what was going on. I told them the truth, and many took my side. On Monday, I received another surprise. A woman named Elisa contacted me. She was Christian's wife. She told me she discovered the messages between him and Natalia and that they weren't just about the wedding. They had been talking for months, planning things behind my back. Elisa was furious, but not with me. Don't worry, Daniel. This isn't over, she said. She sent me screenshots, messages where Natalia asked Christian to fix things with me and others where they talked about taking what was theirs. It wasn't clear what it meant, but it sounded like they were trying to take something of mine, maybe the car or more money. With the screenshots, I went to the police again. I presented everything, the messages, the damage to the car, the charges on my card. The officer told me they would investigate, but that I needed more evidence to charge them with fraud. Meanwhile, Natalia continued her campaign on social media, gaining some support, but also losing credibility. Her own family began to distance themselves. Marta told me her mom was fed up with Natalia's lies and no longer defended her as before. Pablo invited me to his house that night to clear my head. We had a barbecue with some friends, and for the first time in days, I felt free. We talked about everything except Natalia. We laughed, had some beers, and even planned a fishing trip. But deep down I knew this wasn't over. The lawsuit, the messages, the car, everything pointed to Natalia and Christian not giving up so easily. While we were grilling meat, I received a message from Elisa. I just confronted Christian. He admits Natalia manipulated him, but he says he didn't want to hurt you. I'll send you more proof tomorrow. I didn't know if I should believe him, but something told me the next chapter of this disaster was going to be even crazier. On Monday morning, Elisa delivered. She sent me a file with more screenshots. They were messages between Natalia and Christian that made it clear they had been talking behind my back for months. Not only did they plan the best man thing, but Natalia asked Christian to help her secure a future if the wedding fell through. There was a conversation where she suggested selling my car to cover expenses, and another where she talked about using my card for more purchases. Christian seemed uncomfortable in some messages, but he didn't stop her. I thanked Elisa and asked if she wanted me to present this to the police. Do it, she replied. I'm sick of him too. With the evidence in hand, I went back to the police. This time the officer took the case more seriously. He told me that the charges for card fraud and damage to the car could move forward, but he needed time to investigate. Meanwhile, Natalia's lawsuit for emotional distress was still pending. My lawyer friend Luis assured me it had no merit, but warned me that Natalia could drag out the process just to annoy me. It's pure theater, he said. She wants to make your life impossible. That week things got even crazier. Natalia lost her job. Marta told me her boss found out about her social media campaign and the fraud accusations and decided to fire her for having a bad image. Her family, who initially supported her, began to turn their backs on her. Her mom told her she couldn't keep defending her if she kept lying. Even Marta, who was always loyal to her sister, wrote to me, "Daniel, I don't know how to apologize. Natalia is out of control. I don't recognize her." Meanwhile, I found a small but comfortable apartment in another part of the city. I moved with the help of Pablo and other friends. On moving day, we organized a kind of liberation party at the new place. We put on music, grilled burgers on the balcony, and toasted with beers. Marta showed up, which surprised me. She brought a bottle of wine and gave me a hug. "To your new chapter," she said. We talked for a while, and she confessed she was fed up with Natalia's attitude. She always wanted everything her way, but this got out of hand, she said. I liked her sincerity, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. But the drama didn't end there. A few days later, I received a notification from the court. Natalia's lawsuit was dismissed for lack of evidence. The judge didn't even want to hear her full case. Luis told me that Natalia's lawyer seemed embarrassed presenting the arguments. But that didn't stop Natalia. She uploaded a video to her social media crying, saying the system was against her and that I had destroyed her. She asked for donations again, but this time almost no one played along. Her followers dropped, and even her closest friends stopped commenting on her posts. The final blow came a week later. The police finished their investigation with Elisa's evidence, the messages, and the camera recordings. They formally charged Natalia and Christian with fraud and attempted theft. Natalia received 18 months of probation and a restitution order for the $8,000 she tried to spend with my card. Christian, although less involved, also faced minor charges and a good scolding from Elisa, who was already filing for divorce. She contacted me to thank me for exposing everything. "If you hadn't canceled the wedding, I would have never found out who my husband really is," she said. We agreed to have coffee someday as friends to close that chapter. Over time, things calmed down. Natalia disappeared from social media and, according to Marta, moved to another city to start over. I don't know if she succeeded, but honestly, I don't care anymore. Her family stopped contacting me, except for Marta, with whom I still talk from time to time. She says her sister still blames everyone but herself, but that she's alone now without the support she had before. Pablo and I are still inseparable. We organized another barbecue, this time inviting more friends, including a couple of new guys I met at the gym. Even Elisa joined, bringing her sense of humor and a case of craft beers. It was a night of laughter, music, and zero drama. While everyone was chatting, I took out the invoice I sent to Christian, now framed, and hung it on my apartment wall. Everyone laughed when I told them the story. "That's art," Pablo said, raising his beer. Looking back, losing $22,000 hurt, but it was worth it. I got rid of a toxic relationship and discovered who is really with me. Pablo, Marta, my friends, even Elisa, who went from being a stranger to someone I share a laugh with from time to time. I feel free, light, as if I dodged a bullet. My new apartment is simple, but it's mine. My car, though dented, still runs, and I'm rebuilding my life step by step. Sometimes I think about Natalia and how everything fell apart because of a decision she thought was practical. I wonder if she will ever understand the damage she caused, but that's not my problem anymore. Now, every time I walk past the framed invoice in my living room, I smile. It's a reminder that I made the right decision, even though it cost me dearly. And if anyone asks me if I would go back, I just say, no way. Here I am living my life surrounded by people who are worth it, and that's more than enough.